I don't know. I tried different ones. I keep going to the feeding the duck. That's what I keep going to, feeding the ducks. So, um, welcome everybody. Welcome to the feeding of the ducks. That's what I'm going to start calling this. Welcome to the feeding of the ducks. Hey, Lexi. Man, it is only Monday. It is only Monday. And it has been one hell of like even the weekend, shooting down balloons to a massive earthquake, right? Um, I know it's like, it just kind of goes that little groove there. um, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I was talking to a friend. It was so dead at work. I was talked to an astrologer friend who she was telling me about um we're talking about Turkey today, and God bless people in Turkey and Syria, sending them out so much love, and how horrific it is. And she said, I pulled up the chart and of Turkey, and I went, what? And she goes, yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy the alignments that came in for this. And I said, well, I know there's some really harsh alignments that are happening right now, especially with Neptune. And Neptune in Earth shakes the Earth. So when we look at where Neptune is in uh, Taurus, it shakes the Earth. It's electrifying energy that goes in and pulsates through the Earth. And there were angles that were going to Uranus. I got to pull up my chart here. So with Uranus had a square to the sun. And Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, and the sun is in Aquarius. So we had this square that was going on with Uranus. So that was really earth that could be really shaking things up, right? And then we had Mercury doing a aspects to Jupiter. Now watching that or Mars, is it Mars? No, Mercury to Jupiter. Now we don't think, as above so below. That's the thing, is that we don't think too much of what's happening up there in the heavens, how it affects us, and how different alignments, when they come to be, affect or even affect natal charts. Like how they hit your natal chart has, a vibrational effect in how you deal with that vibration, and how it appears for you. It shows up in your chart in some way. It shows up. Now, when I was talking um about, we're talking about this horrible earthquake that happened. She has studied a lot of myth from this part of the world about the ancient mother goddess, and she has deep roots. And there's a Netflix series called Shamarana, which is based in Turkey and talks about the myth of the serpent woman that that she has mentioned before. And as we were talking this morning, we were talking about the astrology behind it. And the first thing, because I asked her, I said, what about Sirius? Does Sirius have anything to do with this? And she says, well, Sirius just stationed retrograde. Sirius is a dwarf planet and was opposed by Jupiter and is conjunct Mars in Turkey's natal chart with Jupiter opposing. And I said, that's crazy. And she goes, it's the tightest, it's tense aspect, which also always pays attention to the involvement of Pluto, which is a semi-square to the natal chart, Uranus. So we have this Plutonian, like a semi-square is like really, it's not like a square. It's just like a little bit more tense of an energy. And now when you have a Pluto doing a semi square with Uranus in your, and especially if it's in your chart, it's something to pay attention to because it gives you like, oh, okay, there's some shit that's going to be happening up that's going to be really really shaky. Because the thing is that when Pluto and Uranus get together, I mean, that's plutonian and uranium. When there's a stress factor there, we know there's going to be some kind of stress that's going to happen. Now we look at where they are in the chart and how that affects. And with Uranus in that semi square to the natal moon by 6 minutes, um, something was going to happen, and with the moon at 29 in Gemini in their natal chart. So there's a T to Pluto. So this is a quincunx as well. So there's this energy that's coming in, and quincunxes are like there's some unknown factor that's coming in. Quincunxes, I got a few in my chart. Really are learning aspects on how to get things done, or what you need to learn. And when you see it in a chart, especially when you're looking at things like either the United States natal chart with what's going on with the Pluto return, and you look at, say, you look at a country's chart, say Turkey as well, um, you take into alignment of, okay, what's happening there, what's going on, and you think that there's going to be some kind of disruption or something that's not going to um, align very well, but you're never too sure what it's going to be. And here it is, a huge earthquake that's killed thousands and thousands of people. And when you start to look at the energies of above and so below, that when you start seeing the intensities of the energies that are coming in, now this week is intense. And even those who've had readings with me, I'm letting you know it's an intense time. And with Pluto heading into the 29th degree, things are going to get like really, really crazy. Things are going to, in the world, in the mundane world, you're going to see a lot of things starting to hype up and get really um really unfortunate, how things are going to get really hyped up um at this time. We are going to, many of you may see in your own personal life, especially with Capricorn, a lot of um a lot of people leaving the planet, and not, and I've said before, not only human but animals as well. With this energy, we're going to start seeing the intensities of energies, especially around war, heighten up, and as things get tighter, and as things and the restraints get tighter, this is where, you know when you look at where the Pluto return is, and where Pluto is and entering into you know um where it was started to go in 1777. So this is where the United States had a dream to become a free nation and not to be under the thumb of King George anymore, and to be able to make their own decisions. And this is where you see a country 248 years later or so, somewhere around there, that are now wanting to make decisions for other countries. That what they stood up for, what they fought for, is totally what they are taking away from other people and other countries. And this is where, when you start to see that manipulation, you start to see it, and you look at the chart and you see that, oh wow, the next 18 months for the United States is going to be pretty harsh, pretty crazy. And you look at other countries, you're gonna like, wow, there's gonna be some real um upheavals that are going to start coming in, and we are going to start seeing things come out that we never thought would be in the public eye or be seen. Now, the other thing that I found very interesting was the Grammy Awards. Now, I didn't sit and watch the Grammy Awards. Grammy Awards don't, I just, I just, no, they don't pull me anymore. Like, I just don't, they've lost their sparkle. And then pictures of Madonna came out, and I just like, holy fuck, and I love Sam Smith, like I love his voice and everything. Then I saw his performance, and I'm just like, and everybody's sitting in the audience, and they're just like, whoa, it's so cool. And I'm just like, wow, wow. And then it was brought to you by that company from Germany that, yeah. Um, I was just like, holy shit, how we are seeing before our very eyes the like you could believe in Satan, you could believe in evil or the devil or whatever, or you don't have to believe in them, but there is a an energy there that is negative. There's an energy there that is very underhanded and manipulative, that wants to have control. And we're seeing these things, happen before our very eyes right now. And when you see somebody like Madonna, like she looked evil. She did not look beautiful anymore. Like she could have gracefully gone into her 60s very, very beautifully, but she looked horrible. She looked horrible, and she did look evil. And and I feel like everything that this area, this place, the music industry, Hollywood, all stands for, a lot of it, stands for, is very evil and very manipulative. And this is where, everything that was fought for by our forefathers, we're seeing this arrival come in, before our very eyes, of manipulation and control, and wanting to have this control. And this is where also where you're seeing, especially with Pluto coming to the end of Capricorn, where it's really getting you to see those manipulations. And then where Eris is coming in, and Eris is a slow moving, planet. She's on the outside. She's further out than Pluto is. And we're seeing her move, and she's making these aspects not only to Mars, but she's making still aspects over, there's still, I think, quite a bit of orb between her and Pluto, but there's still that tightening of this discord that is being shown, and Pluto is bringing all of this discord up. And then with Mercury coming over um hit, to conjunct with um Pluto. I mean, he's getting this information, and he's going to go around, and he's going to be talking to all the other planets, right? And letting them know this is what's going on. Look at this manipulation. Look at this upheaval that's happening. Look at all the sanctions that, right down to the sanctions that have been put on Syria, which were caused by the United States, right? Because they wanted to have control and manipulate and take over and whatever they wanted from that country. Same with what they've done with other countries. This is where we're seeing this manipulation and control, in many different forms, starting to come up and starting to be seen, you know, before our very eyes. And this is, where, especially with Syria, that needs aid now, desperately needs aid. Um, and the people in Turkey. It is something that, when the earth starts to shatter and starts to shake, this is what we are starting to see. And I think the first, going back to the earthquake, the first one was 7.8 and the second one was 7.5. Um and the death toll is close to 4,000 right now. This is where for you know, this is rocking the boat, and with a lot of with the Mercury squaring Eris, and Mercury's out of the shadow, and then Mercury's gonna conjunct Pluto. And there are tons of Eris aspects within the Turkey chart. And Eris moves slow, so that these have been going on for a while. These aspects involve Eris quincunx Jupiter, opposite Mercury, opposite Saturn, tensely aspecting the nodes, all about a half a degree or less. Eris is the goddess, as I say, of discord. She's bringing it up in many different ways. And, right up to the upheaval of a sudden and unexpected earthquakes. These are the um, things that we are going to be seeing happening, these unexpected energies. And especially with Mercury and Eris, and this is the last of three with Mercury stationed retrograde at the end of December. He did so in a double square to Eris. So there's this energy, there's this story that's being unfolded. And we are going to be seeing what this unfolding is over the next several weeks to several months of the information that comes out from all of this, and so that we must be aware and navigate with some care this week, especially because of the communications, the information that comes in. And some people are going to be very angry. They're going to be very disruptive. It's that force sometimes that comes in that is people don't know how to release it or how to deal with it. So it's going to come out in a very negative, very some maybe even a harmful way. So this is where it's like really don't poke the bear. Don't poke the bear, especially with this energy that's coming in this week and the intensities. And we also have to realize is that all of that energy from, Turkey and Syria is like going into the collective consciousness. That energy is rising up within it. And we also had Pallas Athena moving from Pisces and going into Aries. Now, when you see this, coming from the ending, from the last degrees, and Venus is going to be doing this too, from the last degrees of Pisces, which is the last degrees of the zodiac, to the new one. So from the Omega to the Alpha, and with Athena, this is the goddess of war, is entering in with the god of war sign. So we have this, and something to do with the goddess, something to do with feminine power, something to do with this, shaking this up because of where, a lot of energy within Turkey has a lot of the divine feminine energy of the goddesses there. And with Athena, this goddess of war, coming in with the god of war, there's this shaking up, there's this movement. And what is the name of Russia? And it's just like, I don't know, maybe I'm just pulling strings here, or maybe I'm just going off the cuff, but we call Russia Mother Russia. And who is, and then I'm thinking, holy shit. We have this craziness that's coming in with Mother Russia on Ukrainian soil, which is kind of like her child, or there is this civil unrest that is there. This is mainly, the fighting of the one within itself, because it's been going on for many, many years. And all along, then we have the energies of the masculine, this energy of the patriotic energies that are coming in, which has to do with Russia putting tanks on Ukraine towards Mother Russia. So the father is now going against the mother. So now we're starting to see this energy, this discord, this unravel. and we're going to start seeing this unraveling of it all. And I feel like there's this little child that is manipulating it all and trying to manipulate it all. And this little child is trying to, wanting to create this huge mess because it wants to be the big one on the block. It wants to be the big person. And it's coming into its own um civil unrest, its own upheavals that are going to be happening within its own borders, or their lack of. um and so this is all coming up, and this is all rising up, and we're starting to feel more of the rumblings. It's like, yes, that was the thing in Turkey, but there's going to be something else. I just feel like there's something else, playing one parent against the other. Exactly, yeah. Not thinking the consequences, though. No, they're not. And it's like, the energies, we can feel them, and then when we sit back, we can, you can start to see how they're being played out within the world. And you have these old masters that are there, that are, then we go back to the little manipulative playing of the Grammy Awards, and we don't think anything of it. We don't think, oh, that's just nothing. Yet this is the demonic energy, or the evil energy, or the negative energy, or whatever, however you want to phrase it, um manipulating and playing on the minds of our children. And they're thinking it's nothing, it's just a cool song, you know but there's always a way of doing things that can get to you consciously, subconsciously. And we saw it with a concert last year? I can't remember the concert, but with the music that he made, and the sounds that were made within it, that really got many killed. Again, this is a plane of, manipulation within it. And it's, when you look into the vibrations of music, it can be used in such goodness, some really good things, to things that were very to things that can be very negative and manipulative. And um this is where we have to really, we have to be strong. We have to be within our own strength, because as this week unfolds, this week is just the beginning of the craziness that's going to be unfolding. um and the setup, the light and the things that are going to be coming forward with everything. And I feel, ooh, that um, as the sun gets closer and hits, it's gonna conjunct Saturn, and with Mars moving on, and Mars, moving, it's only 11 degrees. Um, I just feel like there's going to be things that we are going to be witnessing. I mean, Venus is still at 13 degrees, and she's still squaring Mars, coming off that square, though, but still, that square is still 2 degrees off. Um that's, I think we really have to keep ourselves grounded. And this is, even when I was doing my full moon readings, I was telling people, you got to keep balanced. You have to know you're balancing. Balance is so, so important right now. And making, when you're doing things, is this leading me to something that's truly more happy, truly more sustainable for myself and my life? or is this taking me into a direction that is unsustainable and making me go down some crazy rabbit holes? And there's so much that is little things that were, that are being seen. I was watching this podcast, a Canadian one, and the Canadian group for substance abuse, alcohol and substance abuse, said if you drink more than 2 glasses or 2 um if you drink alcohol more than twice a week, you have a problem. And I'm just like, wow, very interesting, because one of my predictions is prohibition. Um how they can manipulate to get people to stop drinking, to say, "Oh, you've had 3 glasses um of wine, you better stop," kind of thing. So, or you've had enough this week. So, um very much that control and wanting to, with the control of what you intake within your body, right? Oh man, it's only Monday. It's only Monday. It's only Monday, and there is so much more that is going to be unfolding for us over this week, and um big reveals should pack a punch this week in terms of a big reveal. Shadows are coming to the light and getting to the bottom of things and getting to the truth. And it's also a recipe of power struggle, intensity of communication and thinking. So we got to be aware of how we're going to navigate with some extra care this week. That is going to be so important for us this week. We don't want to get dredged down with the craziness of, you know, of what the powers that be, the dark state, or whatever you want to call it, wants to pull us down to. So we got to focus on the positive, focus on the good things that are happening in our life, and um, move from there. And remember, like, whatever you hear, whatever you read, make sure you really try and get the backstories on things, or even look into the histories and find out more of the history. The more I do that, the more I'm becoming understanding of how these manipulations happen and how people fall so easily to, I'd rather just go with blinders on, because it makes my life so much easier than if you take the blinders off, then I have to be aware of them. That means I have to do something and take responsibility of my life, and not leave the responsibility of my life to somebody else to do. And Eris, the goddess of discord, I'm sorry that she's my theme for this year. I mean, she's my goddess for this year, is the goddess Eris. And watch out for those poison apples. Watch out for the poison apples, because that's what she deals with. You know, she's like, "Oh, you want to be the fairest one of all? You want to be that? You sure you want to be that? Hmm. Well, let me see if you can be that." So there's a challenge that comes with it too. And same with Pluto. I mean, anything that's happening with the disruption of Pluto, there's always a build up to it. There's always something that's building up, that's letting you know there's something going to happen. Things are going to start going crazy. And that's the same with Saturn. So we have this energy of, Saturn and Pluto as well. Saturn is slowly will be coming to the end of Aquarius and taking that plunge into Neptune. And that's going to be a whole nother kettle of fish. That's when you're going to start seeing China come in. When Saturn's in Pisces, there's a whole with Saturn and Neptune and China, there's a whole great unveiling with that we are going to be starting to see, because that's a huge undertaking with China. And how China wants to begin to manipulate. This is hear me out. I'm just babbling right now, so just hear me out because I just got a gut feeling. This is where you're going to start seeing, China, you got to watch, as my grandmother said, you got to watch. You got to pray for this pray f- pray for the soul of Mother Russia for the releasement. Beware of that of the great bear of China because you can never trust that bear. Like I love my grandmother. You can't trust them. There's something that is always hidden. Now, there's something that I feel that's going to come up, and I'm just getting this feeling now, and that this could be because in every war, Russia has always gone with the United States. Russia has come to the defense for the United States in many times. And this is where, as much as the United States hates Russia, so they say. So they say. I mean, they were up in space last year, for Christ's sake. They both hate China just as much. And China and the United States knows there's something there. United States has things that we don't know about too. They have power, they have missiles and all kinds of bullshit too, and they've been doing some crazy shit as well with their war. But there's something there with that, and I think that could bring in a change or a shift in something. See, they talk about Taiwan and everything else, and the thing is that there's something more. There's something more because Taiwan is so tied to China, like so tied to China, and people don't really realize the ties and the tethers that are there, right? Um, there could be some kind of shifting that's there because I feel like there's you know the Ukraine is where all the old leaders of Hitler went. They went, there and Argentina to go hide. Um, this is where Russia's fighting them again and fighting you know that power, but there's also something that's going to come up with China. I just feel it. And Saturn and Neptune are going to be together for some time, and they're going to meet together not till 2025, but that's going to be at the height of everything. That's when everything's going to start really igniting like crazy, like is in 2025. And 2027 is where, if you don't have everything together by 2027, God bless you, you know. So this is like, okay, we're in 2023. I'm giving you 4 years, 2 years, 2 to 4 years to get your shit together. Started giving you warnings in 2019, even before then, 2017. Now I'm giving more warnings that you got to get it together by 2025 because the craziness is going to start. This is just little tiny bits here and there that are going on. This earthquake that's happened, there's something more to it, I believe, but we won't ever hear fully of that. But there is something there more to that of that earthquake, you know. And so there is some shifting. So this week, be on your toes, people. Get your sensors out. You start seeing crazy people. Take a step back. Don't try and get involved in crazy conflicts this week. It's not going to be worth it. It really, really isn't going to be worth it. And if you're being triggered, watch where that triggering is happening. Is that your ego? Is that your ego being triggered? Why is your ego being triggered? What is there? And I noticed it today. in a few people, and I caught my own self like, ah, no, this is going to be a great day. I'm going to continue having a great day, And it was, by the end of my day, it was exhausting because it was like I was really defending off a lot of energies that were negative, that were not, um, you know, uh, positive where I want it to be. So take the high road, people, onwards and upwards. That's what we have to do. And may the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you. Thank you for listening to my babbling as I babble along upon this journey. And sometimes I get crazy thoughts in my head and I just have to share them. That's what I got to do. So blessed be everybody. Have a great one. And maybe I'll be on tomorrow. We'll see. I didn't think I'd be on tonight because I was pretty tired, but hey, I'm here. So have a blessed one. Thank you, Lexi, for coming in. And we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye bye.